Today I got a pretty crazy story, so strap in, grab some popcorn, and let's call today's subscriber Jasper. So anyways, this story took place when Jasper was just chilling in class. He was a junior at the time. He's a senior now in high school, but this happened about a year ago and when he was a junior. And he was just in class, and Jasper tended to sit towards the back of the class. Jasper admits that he's not like the greatest student ever, but he's also not a bad kid. He doesn't get into trouble. He doesn't really break any of the rules. He just isn't, trying his hardest. He isn't really engaged with school like that, which, it's totally fine. I suggest that, you grind in school, but it's up to you, man. But anyways, right, so one day Jasper was sitting in the back, and there's this girl in the class, and, we're going to call her Rosie, right? And Rosie was kind of known as as a sketchy kid. I don't know how else to say it, but like kind of on the sketchier side. And anyways, right, so Rosie comes in like 5 minutes late, and she comes in and she's looking all beat up, and I mean, not like physically beat up or anything, but she's kind of looking like a mess. Like, no disrespect, but that's just how it is, right? And the teacher's like, Rosie, like, you can't be 5 minutes late to class, like, you got to be here on time. And Rosie's like, I'm sorry, like, it won't happen again. The teacher's like, yeah, I hope so, hope it won't happen again. So Rosie, like, not trying to really engage with class during that day, that's what Jasper thought, like, decided, that she was going to sit kind of towards the back of the class. And the only person sitting in the back of the class today was Jasper. It wasn't a large class, and most of the other kids were sitting towards the front or the middle, and Jasper kind of had a few rows, like, behind him. And anyways, right, Rosie sits down right next to Jasper. And that was, like, kind of the first kind of, not red flag, but kind of the thing that made Jasper think that maybe today's class was going to be a little different and not your standard class, because there was a lot of seats around Jasper, and like she could have sat in any of them. Even if she wanted to sit in the way back, there was like a lot of seats like adjacent to him that were like separated by a couple of chairs, but she decided to sit right next to him. And Jasper's like, all right, like, I don't know, like, fine, like, I don't know, like, whatever, man, like, it's not a big deal, or so we thought, of course. And Rosie sits down, and the teacher's talking, and Jasper is kind of paying attention, actually. He's kind of surprised. He's paying attention to the front of the room. That is until he feels a pair of eyes, just, like, staring into the back of his skull, and he's just like, okay, and he kind of, like, how you don't turn your entire head, but you kind of, like, flick your eyes to the side to kind of check your peripheral. He kind of did that, and he saw that, like, Rosie was not looking straight forward. She was not looking down at her phone. She was not glancing out the window. She was staring directly at Jasper, and Jasper's like, okay, looks like we're going to have an interesting class today. So eventually, right, Jasper turns his head, looks at Rosie, and whispers to her, like, yeah, like, what's up? Like, what's good? Because she was giving him like this stare, and she had kind of these, like, for some reason, these like wired up crazy eyes, and she had this like a little bit of a smirk, a little bit of a smile, and Jasper just knew that he was in for a day today, that today was not going to be a normal day. He had literally no idea what was about to be in store for him, but he just knew that something was going to be up. And Rosie's like, hey, Jasper. And Jasper's like, yo, like, hello there. And Rosie's like, are you bored? And Jasper's like, well, I mean, he's whispering, by the way. They're not just having a full out, like, super loud conversation. He's whispering. He's like, well, I mean, I'm in class. Like, I'm not having a super fun time, like, I'm not like, this is not some riveting experience of my life. And Rosie's like, well, I can change that. Jasper's like, okay. She's like, yeah, you want to have fun today? And Jasper's like, well, I'm a fan of fun, I guess, but it kind of depends on what you're saying. And Jasper watches as Rosie turns away from looking at him, turns to her backpack, reaches down, unzips her backpack, and reaches her hand in to grab something. And, she comes back, and she looks back at him. And her smirk was, like, even more pronounced now, and her eyes were just as, like, kind of, like, crazy and, like, intense or whatever. And she's like, take a look at this. And she holds up this bottle, right? A bottle that I like, a kind of like a bottle where you'd have like a medication or something in it, and she like rattles it. And Jasper's like, yo, put that away. Like, that's not what I mean. I'm not trying to do anything like that. Jasper, he's not a try-hard in class, but he's still like a kid who doesn't mess with anything like that. And my personal suggestion is never touch anything like that. It can be like messed up or whatever, and you can get in a lot of trouble and health issues, and it could be really bad. Never do anything like that. Little disclaimer. But Jasper's like, yo, no, like, put that away. Like, no, I'm not trying to rock with that, bro. Like, I'm not trying to deal with any of that. Like, that's all you. That's not me right now. And she's like, oh, come on now. Like, you're not trying to have fun? And this time, this girl, Rosie, like, no disrespect, but she's kind of an idiot because by rattling it, she rattles it again, and she does it super loud. And they're already kind of talking. The teacher kind of is aware that they're not paying attention. So when she makes all this noise and starts rattling this bottle, the teacher kind of like stops teaching what she's doing. And she's like, Rosie, Jasper, like, pay attention. And, Jasper's like, God, like, you're going to screw yourself over because it's like super illegal to have this stuff or whatever. And Rosie's like, come on, you're no fun. Come on. By the way, that's not the definition of fun that Jasper nor I prescribe. You can have your fun if that's your fun. Let me have my fun. At this point, Jasper just assumes that Rosie's going to stop being an idiot and realize that she can get in a lot of trouble and is just going to like put the thing away and just pay attention. But no, Rosie, after like 30 seconds of like quieting down, because the teacher's like, hey, quiet down, right? She goes back and she's like, Jasper, kind of doing this kind of taunting voice, like, you don't want to have fun with me? And once again, she rattles the bottle, and even louder, dude. Like, this girl is not that intelligent. I'm just going to be straight with this. And Jasper is just blown away by, like, he's just like, I share a world with this person. Like, we're both human beings. I don't know how her brain functions, but in my opinion, it does not. And sure enough, right, because she rattled this bottle and the teacher was already kind of mad at them for not paying attention, the teacher turns around once again, but instead of just saying quiet down, the teacher kind of pays attention and she's like, hey, you two, Jasper, Rosie. And they both, like Jasper and Rosie, both turn to the teacher. And the teacher starts power walking towards them. And Rosie, realizing what's happening, quickly, like after like being dazed for like 30 seconds, quickly like attempts to put the bottle like back in her backpack. And she gets it in there, but by the time she puts the bottle of stuff in the backpack, right, the teacher is like right above her, watching her put it in the backpack. And the teacher's like, hey, what did you just put in there? And Rosie's like, oh, I just put a pencil back or something. And the teacher's like, yeah, no, that was definitely not a pencil. I don't know any pencil that makes a rattling sound. She's like, open up your backpack. Rosie's like, no, I don't have to. And the teacher's like, all right, well, I'm going to send you to the principal's office and they'll just search your backpack there. And Rosie's like, all right, fine, I'll open it up. And Jasper's like, why? like, why am I here? Why is this happening? Why is this my life? And Jasper's like, all right, as long as the teacher realizes that I'm just not a part of this, like, it's okay. Like, rip Rosie, but she was an idiot, like, whatever. And sure enough, Rosie opens up her backpack, and there is an unmarked bottle with stuff in it, like a little kind of like pill bottle thing. And the teacher's like, looks at it, realizes that it's unmarked, and is like, Rosie, like, this is like incredibly like illegal and against school rules or whatever. Like, you got to go to the principal's office right now. You got to tell them tell them everything. Like, I'm going to send them a memo. So you don't be lying or anything. And then she turns to Jasper and she's like, you two go up there too. I see you two were conversing. And Jasper's like, what? Like, I wasn't doing anything. I was just here. And the teacher's like, I don't know. Looked like you two were like conversing or something. Like, you were definitely in on it. And, Jasper's like, I honestly did nothing. And the teacher's like, I don't care. Like, you're both going up to the principal's office. And Jasper was like, all right, I can't really put up a fight. And this teacher seems to have made up her mind. But once I get to the principal's office, please, let's hope that Rosie, actually, does a good thing for once and tells the truth and tells the principal that I have no involvement. And if she doesn't and screws me over, then there's literally nothing I can do. So Jasper and Rosie get up, they walk out of the room, doing this big walk of shame with Jasper, he doesn't really care that much about his image at school, because whatever, man, he's going to graduate in almost a year anyways. But, it's just not a good look. So Jasper and Rosie are walking to the principal's office, and Jasper's like, I told you, you shouldn't have had that out in class. Like, this could have been completely avoided. And also, why am I in this? Like, why did I get dragged into this? I was just chilling there. I was having a pretty good time. Then you came in, you wanted to have fun. This is why, I said, you should put it away. Jasper is completely going off on Rosie, totally justifiable in my opinion. And Rosie just wasn't saying anything, dude. She was kind of just like she was very focused, straight ahead, not like ignoring Jasper, but like listening to what he was saying, but just not responding at all. And they were just both walking towards the principal's office, and they get in there, and the principal's like, all right, guys, sit down. I got a memo from the teacher about like what happened. Like, I like to hear your story, but like it's not looking that good. And she's also like, by the way, Rosie, can I have your backpack? Rosie doesn't even give up a fight. Like, she doesn't even put up a fight at this point. She kind of knows that she's kind of done. And Jasper's like, all right, I just want to say that like I had nothing to do with this. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The principal's like, all right, well, that's not what the teacher said, and that's a pretty common excuse we've heard from people that, you know, we're lying, so I don't know how much I'm willing to believe you on this. So Jasper turns to Rosie, expecting, like, you know, Rosie to be like, you know, yeah, I just brought him into this, I'm a big dummy, and he did nothing wrong. But Rosie says nothing, and Jasper is like, wait a minute, what? Like, no, this is not how my day is going. First of all, I had nothing to do with this. Second of all, it's all in you. All you have to say is I did nothing. Like, you get... The thing was, like, Jasper's just so confused because Rosie gained nothing from saying nothing, right? She really didn't gain anything from getting him in trouble, too. So he was just like, why? Why? Why do you hate me like this, man? The principal's like, all right, you two, wait right here. You know, I'm going to, like, get an official report, and I have to, like, do a few things. Don't go anywhere. So yeah, Rosie and Jasper were just sitting in the principal's office with no one there, and Rosie was kind of just looking straight ahead, and Jasper's like, Rosie, why won't you just say that I had nothing to do with it? Like, it literally doesn't help you at all. Like, you will be in the same situation either way, like, if I'm in trouble or not. Your situation does not change at all. And Rosie kind of just looks at him, and for the first time since, you know, getting called out by the teacher, she says, like, I don't know, I just don't want to go through this alone. And Jasper's like, what? Like, if you need someone to, like, be there for support, I'll be there for support. Like, fine, whatever, I'll be there to support you, but I don't need to be in trouble, too, for that to be the case. And Rosie kind of just looks ahead, and she's like, yeah, I guess you're right. That really, like, that's not really fair of me to do that. And Jasper in his head is like, yes! Finally, like, because at first Jasper was like, oh my god, this girl, like, if she was dumb enough to do what she did, she might be dumb enough to, like, keep getting me in trouble for no good reason. But yeah, sure enough, the principal comes back, and, you know, Jasper's like, all right, like, we'd like to say another thing, turns to Rosie. Rosie looks at the principal and is like, yeah, like, sorry I didn't say this earlier, I don't know what was wrong with me, but, like, Jasper had nothing to do with this. I came to class, I sat down, I offered him, I actually tried to, like, get him into it, and I was, like, being loud, and the teacher saw me. Jasper's literally just sitting next to me. I sat next to him. He really did nothing. He didn't even, like, initiate it. He didn't even respond back positively. He was telling me not to do anything like that and to put that stuff away, and he really shouldn't be here. So the principal dismisses Jasper's like, all right, well, fair enough. You can go back to class. I'll send your teacher an email saying that you're in the clear. And so Jasper walks back to class, and it is super awkward walking back to class because he just walked out of class with a walk of shame and a massive, like, embarrassing story. But he walks back in, and the teacher looks at him and doesn't really say anything and goes back to teaching, and, you know, Jasper walks to the back of the room as everyone is staring at him. But yeah, anyways, this girl gets about a week of suspension, and could have been worse. She could have been expelled for this. This is pretty serious stuff. But yeah, click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.